This is where I'm at currently, but things weren't always this way, no. This is a detailed account of my treacherous journey of being an aspiring guitarman. This is my Uncle Robert, and the year is 1988, where his band Damon Wild was taking over the Denver music scene. I was not born at this time, but I hear that it was the talk of the town. By the time I was 9, I showed interest in guitar, and he gave me the first one with the promise I would learn to play it. I didn't touch the thing for 4 years, but when I did, it was all I did. I began learning 80s cover songs and playing them with my dad and his drunk friends. Oh look, there's me and my daddy. By the time I reached high school, I met fellow musical enthusiast Kenneth Rice, where we started our first offensive joke band called Bloody Mormon Jungle. We wrote and recorded our debut album, Bloody Mormon Jungle Gym, over the course of one night and later got in trouble for selling copies at school due to the poor recording quality and questionable lyrical content. Kenneth and I later got in a fight that turned violent over an argument of which band was better, Pantera or Tool. Then Bloody Mormon Jungle was no more. Later that year I got my first job working at the local Cineplex and saved all my money so I could buy a MacBook for recording purposes, but then later got into a car accident where I had to use all the money I worked for to pay for it. The next summer, still at the local Cineplex, I saved all the money I worked for and got my MacBook where I recorded my debut solo album. I then started playing with local death metal drummer Zachy Brubaker, where we worked under the name Sally Stillborn, and we became internet sensations with our heavy metal cover of Oompa Loompa. Oh wow, look at all those views! Soon the internet fame and success went to our heads and we developed egos, which led to the breakup of Sally Stillborn. I later learned to like Tool, and me and Kenneth were friends again. We then formed an experimental progressive rock band called Marlowe Narwhal. Due to the complex nature of the songs, Marlowe Narwhal would continue to write for the next year before recording any material. In the meantime, I would form another, even more offensive band, Fleshy Funbridge, with long-term friend John Morrison, where our debut CD, Molest We Forget, was very successful with our select group of friends. Around this time, at church one day, local choir boy and Bible enthusiast Kyle Greer saw my brother and I, and by being intrigued by our hardcore metal appearances and persona, he introduced himself and we became friends, later forming the metal band Rather Dashing. Being in 3 bands at the same time was a lot of work, as Marlowe Narwhal began playing shows, and Rather Dashing was constantly having member changes, until we responded to a Craigslist ad and found our new vocalist Michael. It was on by that point, and we recorded our debut CD record, NASCAR, and even made it into a magazine. At this point, both bands were playing a lot of shows. They just kept rolling in over the course of the year, most notably some touring acts such as Design the Skyline, Psycho Stick, and one of my personal favorites, The Contortionist. I'm having a blast playing with all my friends and meeting new friends in the process. From developing this hobby since I was 13 years old, I'm going to continue until I'm not having fun anymore.